Hello, this is Adam Weinberg with the State Water Resources Control Board Division of Water Rights. Today I'm here to present to you a tutorial on how to fill out the Shasta Curtailment Certification online response form. Some disclaimers before I get started. This video does not supersede the order or the regulation, and it's not a replacement for reading the regulation yourself or reading the curtailment order that you may have received, or for viewing our helpful hints and tips document on our website. The purpose of this video is to provide some technical assistance and show you how to fill out the online form. And with that said, let's begin. The first thing you need to do is go to the website where you may fill out the form. That website is, as you can see it here on my screen. You can also copy this from the letter that you received. Once you see the same things on your screen as you see on my screen, we begin by clicking the button that says Login Here at the bottom left of your screen. Once you click on that, it asks us to fill in our login and password, also known as a reporting identifier. This is information that you should have received on the curtailment order, or this may also be the information to log into RMS if you have a water right that you report with every year. For this tutorial, I have a water right, and so I will add that information in here. So that is my login, and now I'll enter my password. Let me just enter that again. Once you get that in there correctly, we'll click Login. Now, the first time that you enter our forms database, it's going to ask you for an email address. Now, if you don't have an email address, that's okay. On this screen, you can actually enter any email address. In this case, you can actually use the Shasta Drought at waterboards.ca.gov address that you would use to contact us with any questions about this form or about the regulation. And that's what I'll do here as well. Once you've entered an email address, you can click this button that says Continue. This takes us to the water user database. This provides a list of all the forms that are available to you. This includes the Shasta Curtailment Certification form, as well as the forms that you would fill out if you elect to continue to divert some water, such as for minimum livestock diversion needs, health and safety needs, or non-consumptive uses. And if you receive the order imposing water right curtailment and reporting requirements in the Scott River watershed for water rights associated with the parcels listed in Attachment A, you might be required to fill out the Scott Parcel Curtailment Certification and Diversion Information form. But for the purpose of this tutorial, I'm going to go to the Shasta Curtailment Certification form. Now there's two buttons here. The survey button will allow you to actually fill out information in the form. The summary button will allow you to see the answers that you provided in the form once you've done so, but it will not actually allow you to provide answers in that form. So you'll want to go to the survey button next to the form that you wish to fill out and click that now. This takes you to the introduction screen, which is the first page of the form. Now, the introduction page has some useful information, but for the sake of brevity, I'll be skipping it for this tutorial. I highly encourage you all to read the information when you take the form yourself. Once you've done reading it, we'll click the button that says Next. This takes us to the Contact Information screen. Here we'll provide our name and contact information. The purpose of this information is to allow us to contact you if we need to regarding the information in your form. If you've already filled out a form and you've provided your contact information, you do not need to do so. But this is my first form, so I'm going to fill that out now. Now that I've provided my name and a email address, you could also provide a phone number. We'll press next. One thing I'd like you to know is that whenever you provide information in the form, you can save that information on the screen by pressing either next or previous. If you provide information on the screen, but then you close your browser for some reason, that will not save the information if you have not yet pressed previous or next. When I hit next, it's going to save that information. This brings us to the certification of compliance with curtailment order screen. Here we're going to select the situation that applies to us. You can select that you certify that the diversion identified in your water right has ceased. So you have ceased diverting water. If you have ceased diverting water, you'll click this button here. If you are continuing to divert water under one of the exceptions provided in the regulation, such as for non-consumptive uses, minimum health and safety needs, or minimum diversions for livestock watering, you'll click this button here. If you are continuing to divert under a water right that is not subject to curtailment, you would click this button here. And if you do so, you would then go down to this box and provide information on the water rights you're continuing to divert under. If you're not selecting this option number 3, you do not have to provide information in this box. Finally, there is this box here that says you certify that the only continued use for this right is in stream, such as for a water code 1707 diversion. For the purpose of this, we are going to click this button here that says that we are going to continue to divert water under one of the exceptions, in this case, for minimum health and safety needs. After we've answered these questions, we'll come down to here. Now, if you selected this button as I did, that you're continuing to divert under an exception, we have to then provide which exception we're diverting under. This first one is for non-consumptive uses. The second one is for minimum health and safety needs, which is what we're going to say in this particular situation. We're going to click that now. If you have an alternate water source that has not been entered above, you would use this space here to describe it. You do not have to provide an answer here if you do not have an alternate source. When you've answered these questions to your satisfaction, you can press the button that says Next. This brings us to the attachment screen. Now, for most folks that are filling out these forms, you may not have any attachments that you need to provide on this. But if, say, you're using an alternate water source and you want to describe that water source to us with a document that you have, you can upload that here by selecting the file on your computer with this button and then selecting Upload. And if you do choose to upload a file, please describe what, if any, documents have been attached in this space here. As I did. And then we'll press Next. This brings us to the submission screen. So once you've filled out all the information on the previous pages to your satisfaction, we're going to put the name of the person signing this form. In my case, Adam Weinberg. And then you would put the relationship that you have to the legal right holder. In this case, I am the right holder, so I'll say that here. If, on the other hand, you are a relative of the right holder, you would want to put that relationship here. Or if you have a business relationship, you'd similarly want to describe that. Finally, you need to click this button right here that says, I certify under penalty of perjury that all information entered into this form is true and correct to the best of my knowledge. Now, if you decide that there's information that you entered you need to change, you'll click this previous button. You could go back to any previous screen or correct or check that information. Then you press Next to get back to the screen. Again, once all this is to your satisfaction, we can click Finish and Submit. Now, one note I would like you to know is that once you click this button, if you decide later that you have not submitted information that is completely correct, you can go back and you'll be able to come back to this form, resubmit, rechange the information, and then click this Finish and Submit button. If you change information in this form later, but do not click Finish and Submit, then it's possible that we will not actually see those corrections. I'm going to click Finish and Submit. This brings us to the summary of the form that you filled out. It will have the information that you provided, check marks, the filled out information, etc. If you decide that you want to save a copy of this form for your records, you would click this button here that says Show as PDF, then download that to your computer. Or you can click Return to Dashboard, which brings us back to this water user dashboard where you can take another form, or you can go back to the form that we just completed if you need to change an answer. That concludes this tutorial for the Shasta Curtailment certification form. Again, if you have any questions related to filling out this form or any other forms or regarding the regulation, we encourage you to contact us at our email address or the phone number specifically for this drought effort. Thank you very much, and good luck completing your form.